These people, they can. Right now, everybody is pretty much aware of the incident or the backdrop. There was an unfortunate, a tragedy of a beheading that took place in France. Um, I'm not sure if I've spoken about it already, but a teacher, yes, I did in my last Monday nights or the last Q&A, that a teacher was beheaded for showing the cartoons depicting the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right now, I have mentioned that look, people have the right to critique, to criticize religion if certain people want to draw cartoons of the Prophet. We should just ignore it, okay? They do it to provoke. Don't react. Don't let it wind you up. That's exactly what they want to do. They want you to feel hurt. Yastafizunaka. This is what they want. This is exactly. Just put it out of your sight. Okay, just ignore it. It may hurt you as a person, but it's the world. We're not here to control the world. We're not to. I do think it's very silly of people to try to offend Muslims by doing that. But okay, if they want to be silly, that's their choice. Now, this particular teacher, Samuel Paty, I believe his name is. Now, I'm not sure in what context he was showing I think, I could be wrong, I think he was just discussing freedom of speech, or he was trying to discuss the Charlie Hebdo case and showed them as a, is that, I don't know if somebody had said that here, but is that what, was he just trying to, because the trials are kind of ongoing and things like this, so because it was relevant, I assume he was discussing the matter. That's what I think. Or maybe he was just showing them because he was enjoying the satire, but I'm going with the former, that he was showing it out of because it was relevant, because the current Charlie Hebdo trials are taking place and this is what it's all about. So he was kind of showing them. Nevertheless, somebody, apparently they get the message out, some French Chechen, who's an 18-year-old, finds out. He somehow gets him. I'm not even sure how he gets hold of this person. He gets him and he kills him. The media was confused about whether he actually beheads him, or he slits his throat or whatever, but he tragically kills him. I have expressed that this is utterly unacceptable from an Islamic perspective. You cannot commit these acts of barbarity. Okay, this is unacceptable. Is as an honor, as a statement. He decides to have a whole processionary kind of funeral for that person, which is fine, which is, that's absolutely, if you want to do that, that's fine. He wants to give him the utmost highest award for being a hero for the state. Personally, I don't think really that's being a hero for the state. Although I feel he was well within his rights to discuss the topic, the Charlie Hebdo topic, I also feel he was well within his rights to show the cartoons. If I don't know the ins and outs, if he was doing it just to provoke people, not because it's relevant, but just saying, here's a big, here's a big FU to all the Muslims out there. If he was doing it as that, I think it was just a very silly thing. But he was within his rights to do it. Now, being beheaded for or being killed for it, I don't personally think that equates to automatically becoming a hero for the state. But whatever, France is, they're a sovereign state. They want to declare him a hero. Fine, it's absolutely fine. It's their own executive decision. Then President Macron, what he decides to do is he decides to have the cartoons of the Prophet Muhammad projected onto massive buildings and billboards. Right, I take it from what I've read is right throughout the country. I've seen video footage of it in certain places, but I've read that it's right throughout the country. And he says that openly that drawing cartoons of the Prophet is a right that we have, and he wants to make this a statement. Now, personally, I think that is very poorly managed by the president of France. I think it's a regrettable move. Because, look, I get the fact that what the person did, that this was a tragedy. I get that. I agree with that. I endorse that. I endorse the fact that, look, killing is never a solution. And I endorse the statement that it was barbaric and it was wrong. I even say, I go a step further, say it has no place in Islam. Right. Now, however, to say, well, let's, okay, well, what provoked you was the picture of the Prophet Muhammad doing whatever dumb, silly things, whatever it is. So, in your face, what we're going to do is put this everywhere on these huge buildings. That to me is just taking the, it's literally, it's just taking the mick. Like, what I don't understand how. And he says, well, if Muslims don't like it, tough. Are the Muslims of France not your citizens as well? Don't they have a fundamental right as well? Like, why is this just? And they say, well, so what? It's just look. I get the fact if some people want to do it, it's fine. It's their right. But governments shouldn't get involved in these things. This is not a government thing. For the government to do it, that's taking the mick. For the government to do it. Like, I understand a satirical newspaper doing it. I understand a right-wing kind of organization doing it. I understand even regular people doing it. But governments are there to represent all the people. They need to take all sentiments into consideration. They need to take the ethnic minorities into consideration, who, by the way, are substantial quantity in France. You need to take everybody into. You represent the people. You don't just represent non-Muslim people. You represent the French Muslims as well. If somebody tomorrow said, I want to write a big FU, all Muslims are the C word. This is my calligraphy logo. All Muslims are the C word. Okay, I think that's an absolute dumb move to do, and it's probably gonna, some people are gonna get angry, and they shouldn't assault you, but you're probably putting yourself up for assault. But if the president of a country wants to endorse that logo now, that's just taking this to a ridiculous height. Like, what the hell? Like a president and a government, a monarch, they shouldn't be getting involved in these things. They should be always seen as people who take everybody's sentiments into consideration, not just, the majority. So I think that is a very, it's a shame what the French administration is doing. I think that it is very provocative. I hope Muslims do not react violently. Protesting is their right, and they have reacted in the thousands and thousands worldwide with protests. If they want to economically boycott France, I can understand it. I feel that if they want to do that, that's fine. If somebody doesn't boycott France, I don't think they should be guilt tripped. I don't think you should guilt trip. Like, if you see a Muslim buying, I don't know, What's French? I've forgotten what's French now. But if there's a French designer, is Dior? I think Dior is French. Chanel is French. So if you see somebody buying Chanel perfume and you say, "Oh my God, you've got, that's haram," I think that's wrong. Don't pressure Muslims into that. It's a personal choice. If Muslims want to do it, but I totally understand it. I The fact that Muslim countries are doing it at a state level is makes sense. That like it's a state for state response. Like if a president of a country responds to a president with that response, because that's where it hurts. So basically, they're hitting the pockets because the pockets are what hurt. And make no mistake that these, the French exports, they have a huge export to the Arab speaking world. Most of North Africa, it buys so many French products. It's several countries in the Middle East buy it. So because of the colonialization, so you've got the whole thing still going on. And I think that is a justified response. Absolutely. But I don't think it. On the same token, I don't think you have the right to guilt trip people who don't boycott them. So if they do buy French products, ultimately, I do understand that the French products didn't do that. So we have to make that distinction. That I understand. Let's just say I don't want to pick a particular one in case they did. And I get it wrong. But I understand all of those products, I'm sure, didn't necessarily support the Charlie Hebdo thing. That said, at a state level, statutory level, because the state has got involved to say, well, we feel it's a right to disrespect the Prophet Muhammad, which I think is so dumb. I can't believe you'd have to have the brain of a Neanderthal to think like that. Because really, presidents and prime ministers are people who are diplomats, who know how to make the country prosper economically in this day and age. They have to be diplomatic. This kind of a, thuggery response, like, oh, big F you to all the Muslims, here is, if your president is doing that is such a Neanderthal of a president that you've got. Honestly, that is somebody that is going to sink that ship. You really need to replace that president with somebody who's got a higher IQ. Because you need, in this day and age, you always need the person in control to be cool-headed. Having a hothead. Yeah, so I hope that I want to share that's my thoughts on it. So I know when Muslims start boycotting, what happens is they start guilt tripping other Muslims. That is wrong as well. You shouldn't guilt trip people. It's your own personal choice. Right. Somebody said we've trolled Macron. Aye, Macaroni. Aye, Macaroni. We've trolled Macaroni all day on Twitter. The whole government is on crack. Yeah, man. I do feel sorry for. Somebody said boycott French kissing. Toba, toba. Kufar bole. This one kufar borderline. No boycotting. Right, so by Mexicans. Has Mexico boycotted France? Okay, I didn't know that they had. Somebody said Muslims should boycott French passports. Okay, I'm not sure how that works, how you boycott a passport, but okay. Somebody said, Mufti, please debate hijab. Would hijab want to come on Mind Trap? I don't think he would, for the reasons aforementioned earlier on today. Mufti Saab, please don't forget my super chat. Ah, right. I know. See, boycott French fries. No. French fries and the earlier French thing. This one. These two things we can't. No boycotting French fries. No boycotting French kissing. This one, no. So these two things are okay. What else is French on the? That's on the sacrosanct list. I think that's it, isn't it? Is there anything else that... right, so French fries are Belgian. Are they? Oh, rather.